You're watching the Green Machine Live. David Dunn here, joined by Martin, and we are live in FARO. Don't worry, we didn't get a wrong plane and go to Gibraltar instead. We did get the correct plane. We are here in FARO, and it's a beautiful evening out. I don't know if you can see that behind me. That's FARO. And yeah, I've got this young man next to me. Go on, Martin, Sean, what are you drinking?
Oh yeah, look, I'm having a local brew.
Yeah,
the Sagres.
He's well on the lash.
Very nice brew. In honour of Nick, and we're missing you, Nick. And just want to say thanks for your help there with the technical issues. And
yeah. By the way, just a disclaimer: if you're listening back on this on the audio, if we do have some audio problems, we do apologise. We are live over here in Portugal, and just let us know. Let us know in the comments how that sounds. And of course, we are Irish football's most interactive podcast, so we want you to have your say. Anything you want to talk to us about, anything you've seen in the news, you want to discuss, anything you want to say, we want to hear from you guys out there. We want to also hear about what you think about Stephen Kenny. Is this his last game? Will they keep him on? I know the FAI have said, well, we don't want to rock the boat too much, but will defeat tomorrow here in FARO mean Kenny's number is up 1 month earlier? Just get onto us there anyway, guys. We're going to have a little look at tomorrow's game, a little preview. Martin, of course, it was absolutely dreadful in Dublin on Friday. 2-0 down at half-time, of course, and that was really it. It was probably one of the worst nights in Irish football. Can you remember a worse night than that in recent memory? You are old.
I am old, yeah. Yeah, great to be on the pod tonight. We did say we'd do it, Dave. We said we'd do a live one.
Yep.
And we're on the road. Fans who do travel to games, so this is why we do it. So yeah, do leave your comments. But yeah, in answer to your question, yeah, I think the Cyprus 5-2 understand was very
Worse, yeah.
it was awful. Yeah, the most horrible atmosphere I've ever been at an Ireland match, and I'm hoping we don't get a repeat of that tomorrow night. I certainly hope the fans won't turn like they did then, but I think the fans are turning a little bit on the kind of project as it is, and it's disappointing results the other night. Trying to make out there's 41,000 there when we know there's not. I think questions have to be asked as well at the FAI. I did have a bit of a rant the other night about that, but back to the football. We should be winning here tomorrow night. And I'm looking to, comfortably as well. We should be. I mean, it will give us all a lift as well. I know that Nick will be watching and very disappointed after the rugby yesterday. So the country does need the lift, and it's ironic now that it's going to be the footballers who are going to give us that.
But tune in, lads, rugby lads. The boys are green. We'll sort you out. Yeah, it's pretty bad. I mean, it wasn't even angry at the end of the game on Friday. It was more apathy than anything else, which I don't know is worse. For me, I think it's like, don't know what you guys out there. By the way, we want to see your comments coming in. By the way, do ask us, get involved. We are live. It was a bit like the footballing equivalent of your parents being disappointed with you more than angry, and you want them to be angry because you know which is worse. I think that was the feeling, wasn't it, around Lansdowne Road? It was just people were like, we've wanted something like this for a very long time. Somebody to go in, give our lads a chance to express themselves. We've had it, and it just hasn't worked, has it?
No, it's not worked, and it's sad. I think a lot of us, whether you're Kenny in or Kenny out from the outset, we did want to see the Irish team be successful, and sadly, 3 years on, we're not. There has been progress, capping all the young lads as well. I think it's been a big thing, and Kenny does talk about it often, as we know. But it's results at the end of the day. And I think if you look at you have to start questioning the manager, because I think if you look at any other manager, they would get results out of these players. I think that's my turning point now, to be honest.
I think there's a few hallmarks, I think, of the Kenny era out there. Like, there's a few things you expect. Strong start. I said we'll start strongly. I thought we'd score. We didn't, although we kissed the post. It seems to be the hallmark of the Kenny era. Strong start, and then we capitulate. And it just seems to me as well that the manager over time has done his best to find a way to sort of hammer in some of the senior lads, much to the detriment of the squad, who I think a lot of them have let him down. I want you guys out there. I want your opinion on this as well. But like Shane Duffy, nothing against Shane Duffy, a fantastic defender. But he, in the style of play that Kenny wants, he's more of a liability now, isn't he? Because he's not a ball playing centre half. And yet, instead of actually putting Liam Scales in there next to Collins, he puts Shane Duffy in there, and he puts Liam Scales out on the left. And Liam Scales will be playing as a centre back all season with Celtic in the Champions League. Matt Doherty, nothing against Matt Doherty. Why is he involved now? I mean, surely his time has come. He hasn't started a game for Wolves all season. Festi Abicelli, he is on, he's on the ascent at Udinese in Serie A. But it's just been these mistakes for me, for Stephen Kenny, where he just insists, no, I've got to put the senior players in. Is that, do you think, to appease the senior players? Is that to keep them on side? Or it doesn't make any sense?
It is a little bit of that. I think he's got to look at leadership within the squad. And Shane Duffy, let's be honest, he left him out of previous squads. It was the end, I thought, for Shane Duffy. And yet he brought him in and he made him captain again. And you'd have to question that a little bit. Like, okay, it's a senior player, so I can understand that.
Yeah.
But, we thought it was the end for him, and he's back in there. Liam Scales, another one, not good enough to play in Malta when you can experiment and cap him, and yet you play him in the biggest game, arguably, we've had in the group. We needed to win the other night, and we didn't have that win. And he felt he's good enough. And is that on the back? That's only on the back of him, obviously being played by Celtic and stuff, and Brendan Rodgers probably talking him up. But there's just too many inconsistencies with the squad selection, team selection as well. Doherty, he has frustrated. He's that figure now. I think, to be honest with you, I think Jeff Hendrick's out of there now. I think it seems to be Doherty does seem to be the scapegoat a little bit now. He's just not performed as we need him to do.
I thought what has really just kind of crystallized this, the last few months, there was a moment there deep in the second half. Greece were sitting nice and comfy with a 2-0 lead. They're like, yeah, you come with us because we know you're not going to do anything with it. Shane Duffy has the ball. Doherty's screaming for it on the right-hand side. And all it requires is just to hit it in front of Doherty. And he hits it to his feet, but actually goes behind Doherty. That was it. It's just that sort of thing. And you've got two lads that really should be in the team, and yeah, you're right. I think with Doherty, he's persevered with Doherty. And of course, Doherty came out and said in the press conference, didn't he, I think he should get another contract. What did you make of Gus Poyet's comments there? He said that, I don't know if his current employers would be too happy about this, but he did say in the post-match that he'd actually, Ireland's a team I'd like to manage, because he was going on about you lot in your tracksuits. Yeah,
he's probably been a bit diplomatic, I think, and that he, he's a quality international manager. He's done all right with them, hasn't he? And he's certainly one who's familiar with the kind of British-Irish game, so he would know some of the players and stuff. So it's not unfeasible, but I think it's money ultimately with this level. And I saw someone say the other day, Stephen Kenny's on decent dough for what we're getting from him. Yeah, and we're just not delivering on that, I don't think. And I think one of the sad things about the whole build up to it. I mean, we used to criticise when Roy Keane was thrown up in the press conferences, didn't we? And yet we had Keith Andrews out there the other day, and it was a little bit like Roy Keane used to do. Put a quote out there that's going to be sensationalised. That's what he did the other day with the Gary Dicker thing and about spies in the camp and things like that. It didn't work though.
Backfired.
Keith Andrews he looked a bit silly with it, I think, and then Kenny's not backing him, or is he? We just don't know what's going on. Well, seems a bit of a mess in the camp, to be honest.
Well, Kenny did turn around and say, didn't he, that I'm not getting involved in that. That it is what it is. And I think one of the quotes was in the Irish Times, well, no, it's not. It isn't what it is.
Important. It's important. You're representing the team, whatever level you are. Like everyone, adorned with the Irish tops and all that kind of stuff. The backroom staff as well. They've got their initials on the thing, haven't they, Dave? And
you've got yours.
They're representing Ireland ultimately. So what they do does reflect on them. And I think Stephen Kenny is ultimately responsible for that. Roy Keane Martin O'Neill used to get called out for Roy Keane's comments and things, and just always back him. So I think that's another thing that is worrying me a little bit. There's a lot in this camp that I'm not happy about. I'm not happy about the James McLean releasing that he's basically told us he's having a testimonial at the end of November, because he's said I'll be available for the November game, left out in this one, and he announced his international retirement. Not happy with the Keith Andrews thing. I'm not happy with the Sammy Schmodix thing, and I'm not happy with the performance ultimately. And I think the pressure is on the manager now. Tomorrow night, we've got to get a performance out there. And I think the hardcore fans, and I would say they're hardcore fans travelling because it's a dead rubber. They've come over here now to Portugal to watch Ireland, and we were expecting to put this team away. Wales beat them convincingly the other night. We've got to now
go on as well.
We've got to go on and perform, and that's it.
What do you think if we don't? What if we don't get results tomorrow?
I think if we lose tomorrow night, he's got to walk away straight away. He has got to.
He's got
to resign. He has got to resign tomorrow night if we lose, without a doubt. He has to. How can he stay in? He could have done it the other night, but he didn't do it the other night because we had this game coming up. But if we lose to Gibraltar, he has got to walk away. He's got to.
What do you guys think about that, by the way? Martin has just made a little headline there. If we lose tomorrow, don't win tomorrow, does Stephen Kenny have to fall on the sword? Or
if we lose to Gibraltar, Dave, that's the worst result probably in our history.
Yeah, I mean we almost had a draw with San Marino a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm fiddling around my headset because I'm getting an absolute load of feedback in my ear. I hope you guys don't hear it. If so, please let us know. It's just a little bit distracting. Also, I mean, a mate of mine I was chatting away to him, and his idea was, why not just put him on gardening leave and let John O'Shea take over the team, maybe for the final window. I mean, you're going to pay him anyway. They're all going to get paid.
I think no, that's not really what the FAR would do. They seem to be, as we know with the Vera Powell situation, we know that they like to see out the contracts, and then it's all nice and easy and simple and stuff. And you have to remember as well, hopefully we don't have the contract debacle that we did with previous managers, where, for example, Robbie Keane, and hope Robbie's safe and the family are all okay now.
Of course, yeah.
But Dave.
Start.
Sorry.
I mean, some of the comments about that were quite ridiculous. Actually, on the
but no, I think his contract term was longer than the backroom staff, and I think that's important to note as well, that we do have the whole backroom staff will be part of this.
Yeah, 100%. So tell us what you think about that. Should the FAI put Kenny in gardening leave? If we do,
okay.
Yeah. Just getting a little update from Nick about our technical difficulties. This is what happens when you're on the road. Oh, has it sort of gone away? No. But anyway, what do you guys think out there? Do you think he should walk away if we don't get a result tomorrow? Or maybe put him on gardening leave? Who knows? Do you reckon? Should we get into the comments? We got
definitely. I think,
yeah. He's gasping for a pint. By the way, we will be live. Obviously, Wi-Fi pending. We will be live from the stadium in FARO. What's it called? The FARO Stadium?
Jeez, I don't have a clue. I've been in.
You were here.
I was here and saw Ronaldo create that history at the time. So
you did.
I did. And I saw Bazunu in the lovely blue shirt that I'm still trying to get hold of, make a penalty save that night. Look.
That wasn't the only bit of controversy about that, Martin, was it? You should ask Martin about that. That was pretty funny. We had a good flight actually coming over. I'll tell you what, Stansted Airport is a shitty airport. It's an RC airport. They're all RC, right? I was coming over, and we paid for the fast track because we're celebs. And he was late, and actually I was a bit late too. And what's Nick saying?
No, we're just checking a technical issue.
We're just technical.
Sorry,
just not correct, Mike.
Okay.
We do apologize again for the audio issues, but yeah. So I was going fast track, and the old lady. It was one lady in the fast track. She was like going mad at everybody, and I had all my beautiful toiletries, I'm a well-groomed man, as you know, in the bag, and she goes, "That's not regulation size. You need to use one of these." It was the exact same size.
Yeah, it was. But that was a very funny moment, though, like coming through there, because we obviously are the Green Machine podcast, but I didn't realise the two Johnnies were travelling with us.
You never know, right? You might not listen, just because we might not get lucky on the pitch doesn't mean I don't get lucky off it.
Stay safe. It's kind of a rule.
Bally up. Want a tip? There you go. Right, let's get into the comments. But yeah, we will be live from the stadium tomorrow, obviously Wi-Fi dependent. Nick will be joining me, hopefully for the pre-game and the post-match aftermath. So as always, guys, have your say, leave a comment, get involved. And we're going to get into the comment. We're going in a little bit early with the comments because we're getting so many comments. And by the way, thank you for that. And thank you for following the Green Machine on Anson Road during the international windows. We seem to be getting more and more interaction. It's great. I've seen a couple of comments there. First time catching us live. Young Sean Kelleher there on YouTube. Thank you for that, Sean. We do apologise if there are any issues with the audio. It's not normally, but it's normally a lot better quality. It's just, when you're traveling, these things happen. So we're going to get to the comments, guys. And yet again, before we get into it, thank you so much for giving us your support. Now, an old favourite of the podcast will kick things off. Graham Farrell, he thought it was Gibraltar. Actually, a lot of people on the page thought that we got the wrong flight. No, that was our attempted humour, wasn't it, Martin?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yes, and I thought it was quite smashing. Actually, that was very funny. You never know what you're going to get with social media. Jude Clancy, any word on the short sponsorship issue? Yes, apparently the FAI happy enough with things at the moment. They're happy to get a lot of little sponsors as opposed to having one big sponsor. So I don't think we're actually down any revenue as such, are we, on that? But it's the prestige of having a large sponsor, I think, is more the worry there, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd like to see it, to be honest, and on the training stuff, not on the match
Not
shirt,
on the
of course.
match shirt.
But I think one of the things we have to be reliant on is a good campaign, and we haven't had that. So the draw for the Nations League coming up is going to be very, very important.
Yeah.
The manager as well is going to be important. We need a manager probably who's going to be a bit more promotional of what the ideals of the FAI are as well. So I think that will be something that may evolve in time. But I do think it's absolutely fine to call out the FAI on that. I think it's a massive failing, to be honest, that we haven't got one.
Yep. Jonathan Hill now has been in the job, 2 years. Doesn't live in Ireland. Isn't very active on Twitter, unlike another CEO.
Nope. I don't know.
Noel, what did you make of that story? Apparently he was trying to get Roy Keane as manager. Any truth to that?
I wouldn't think there's any truth in it, but I just think that Roy's good mates with him. So
he is, yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, good man, Noel. Do like Noel Mooney. But thank you, Jude, for your comment. Graham Farrell again. Kenny doesn't want to talk about Hammond's comments after Friday. He doesn't want to talk about Andrew accusing Gary Dicker of going to give Poyet advice, which again was bullshit. So what does he want to answer? Genuinely shitting tomorrow. I actually, on the way back from the stadium, because all my mates abandoned me, by the way, if you're watching, they're in the other part of what's the name of the place that everyone's in? It's not FARO.
Well, the Algarve.
Yeah, the other part.
Oh, Albufeira.
Are we going there afterwards?
When?
Tonight?
No.
Where are we going? You've taken me somewhere.
We're going to FARO.
We're going to FARO. We're not in FARO.
We're in FARO, but we're going more central with FARO.
Right,
and hopefully meet Irish fans. Jesus, get away from him.
Yeah, it's been a long old day, folks. If you're in the FARO area, you see us. We will have some recording equipment. So
and badges and some of our stickers might be adorning places.
Yeah,
as well.
and tickets.
Look out for them.
And tickets, Martin Delaney. And tickets, yeah. Big suitcase full.
I brought my own match ticket yesterday. Can you believe? Because I kind of messed something up with something. But
don't need match
there
tickets.
Are match tickets available. You don't need it if you have the lanyard, of course.
Yes.
Again, I would like to apologise on behalf of the Green Machine podcast that Dave, obviously, despite Friday's, emphatic requests from the followers, you did not throw your lanyard.
I did. I threw it in the bag. Yeah, I did. It just boomerang back into the bag. And made, who knows, eh? Right, let's move it on. Oh, actually, sorry, Haman's comments, as Graham rightly says. Yes, so I was on my way home on the bus. So we got a bit sidetracked there. On my way home on the bus. And of course, I was actually able to see the Twitter videos from RT because I can't really see them when I'm in the UK. And Haman was absolutely scathing, wasn't he? He said that, I don't know if you saw it, but he basically said that Kenny's been kidding the public for 3 years. I mean...
there has been a narrative, and there's been a lot of people against Kenny, I think, from the start. But I think it's results based. I think Haman's respected enough to know that it's results based at this level, and I think it's absolutely right to call it out in a bit. And I don't want to hear. I was a big fan of Kenny, but I don't want to hear him talk anymore. It was just too repetitive. That he was saying how many players he capped and things. Haman is calling it out now for what it is. It's not good enough. And I'm not a manager. I believe can get better performances out of this team.
I believe so. We have a spine of a decent side there. Just need a bit more savvy. Jamal Colorado. Hello, Jamal. And I believe you're a first-time commenter. How you doing? Thank you over there on a YouTube channel. This Kenny out business is a slippery slope. Next thing you know, you'll be expecting results. We're kind of expecting results under Stephen Kenny. Well, it is a result.
I think we're just expecting improvement, though. Like we're not seeing performances. We're not really. We've played to type in the last 2 home games. We've had a go at them for the first 10 minutes, and then we've capitulated. That's it. Other better teams are managing the game better, and we've not got that experience yet to do that.
We were getting, it was a period where we were getting results. Sorry, we were getting performances, but not results. Now we're getting neither. because that the other night was absolutely dreadful. I mean, anyone I spoke to, most people at home just switched it off after half time because there was no hope. There was no hope that he was going to switch things around. There was no hope we were going to go for it. There was no hope of us really getting back into it.
And fans are leaving. They're with their feet now. There wasn't a massive attendance as they claimed. People did leave early, as we know. Some people left at half time, that I know. And I'll be honest, they're fans who I would never have expected to have that happen.
It's hopeless.
So and that's worrying.
That is worrying. I mean, when the fans give up on you when they walk, and to be fair, they've been very patient with Stephen Kenny, and rightly so. But you know, when the time comes, Sean Gallagher, it always looks like Kenny never has a plan for when the opposition adapt to early pressure. In game management has been his biggest downfall. That is one thing we have said from day one, and we hope it would improve over time. Is his in-game management? It's just never been enough. You go back to the days of Mick McCarthy. Before he got into the Ireland job, his in-game management was fantastic. You look at some of the most famous results, and it was all down to Mick actually making a swap. You know, he just never got that.
No, and I think that comes down to the coaching staff though as well. Like, I've met Keith Andrews, got a lot of time for him in some respects and stuff, but he's not the most experienced. All right, he did all okay with the under 21s and stuff, but I think I'd question that. John O'Shea's come in. There's been so much upheaval in the background. I could probably have a bit of sympathy for Kenny in that regards, but you need really experienced coaches who can know the game. They really know the game. You have to adapt to the other team. You can do all your presentations you want on the opposition before the game, but it's in games where it matters.
Because I mean, look at the Dutch game, and Sean, by the way, and thank you for your comment, Sean. You're a first-time commentator, as you said earlier on. Welcome.
Good to see you, Sean. Thanks.
Good to see you, man. I mean, Sean makes a great point there. Because look at the game against Holland, we were all over them. We finally put them under pressure, not very much attended, and basically they adapted, and then that was it. They just went on and blew us away. Martin Fitzpatrick, how you doing, Martin? Over on Facebook. I'm worried about game tomorrow now, lads. What do you think? I'll be honest with you, Martin. Tomorrow wasn't a given, and I thought the game at home was very, very bad, and it was very very bad, and their guy made a mistake, and we capitalised and we took the lead, and then they had to open up a little bit. But I don't know if that goalie didn't make the mistakes. It was 0-0 at half time, wasn't it, in Dublin? Yeah. So it's not a given tomorrow, and the team, look. Let's be honest here, right? The players are turning around and they're saying, "Oh, we want to play for the manager." Or shit. Bullshit. They don't. It's done, and they know it's done, and
they're being respectful, aren't they?
They're being respectful. I mean, what are you going to say in the media when they're part of the camp? But tomorrow's not a given. Tomorrow is not a given.
But it should be.
It should be, but it won't be.
And it won't hide the fact that if we win 3-0 tomorrow, it's not going to hide the fact that
we win 20-0 tomorrow.
Yeah, it's the end. It's the end. Sadly, and we are big. We wanted it to work. Let's be honest. We did. We're not pro Kenny, but we wanted a different approach to the game.
I was very pro Kenny.
Yeah. But I mean,
listen.
You need to see results.
I'll address that now. I mean, I'll still when he does go, I'll get absolute dog's abuse, and I can see the names on the Facebook page. And I thought the way some of the people went on about Kenny at first was absolutely hysterical, and not in a funny way. The way they were, before a ball was kicked, we don't want this man, and a lot of them were very happy to come out and say, "I told you so." But if you wanted a man to fail from the very, very start,
you're not going to back.
I mean, we backed them. It was a bad start. There was an upward tick, and then you think, "Here we go now," and it just went down, and it's all very sad, actually. Denethor of Gondar. What do you make of Alan Brown? Bit of an enigma to me. He's not really a technically skillful central midfielder who can dictate play or dribble past anyone, which is desperately needed. I wonder if that's Nick. I mean, for me, Alan Brown, he's sort of like a kind of a new age Ray Houghton, isn't he? In terms of he gets the important goals.
Like he does very well for his club, and he's club captain, I think, isn't he? But I mean, I don't think he's at the top international level by any means, but I think he's always done his best, and I think he's adaptable, and this is probably something of the Kenny era. He can go into a number of positions, and that's sadly what Stephen Kenny has done over the years. He does it with Jason Knight as well. He seems to problem solve by going, I'm going to put him out there, and I'm going to put him in there. Whereas I think you should play Jason Knight in his better position and tell him that's where I'm going to play you. I'm going to give you a run of games, 4 games in that position. Alan Brown, if you're good enough, I'm going to give you a run of 4 games in that position. Yeah. That's what he should do. And that's where Alan Brown, sadly, he's a little bit like Myler now. For me, like just you're a player I can just put you in here, and I know you'll be wing 6, back, 7 out of 10.
Wing back, central midfield.
He's not. He's a good squad player for us, but that's all.
He's played nearly everywhere, bar up front. Like he's played behind the front man. He's played wing back. He's played. He's a good pro. Alan Brown's a good pro.
Yeah,
he's a good pro. And I think history will look back on him kindly. To be honest. Graham Fowl, Keith Andrews made himself look like a muppet on Thursday with his comments, and then Kenny last night didn't back him. Jesus, we're in trouble. We did comment on that earlier on. Silly comments from Keith. I have a lot of time for Keith Andrews. Well, I've never met him, like yourself, but I don't know. And I actually I watched the footage back. I don't know what you had to gain to say. To say to him, no. What does you have to gain to say that?
A key question often people will say is where does Stephen Kenny go after this when it ends with Ireland? Yeah. But where does Keith Andrews go is another thing. And is that him trying to make himself relevant or not? I don't know. We know he's a pundit and stuff, does the championship. He's okay at that because that's the level of he played at basically as well. Nice guy. He's not the worst pundit. I know he gets a lot of grief for being a pundit, but he does know the championship. He knows the players week in, week out. I think he's not too bad.
But Martin O'Neill was a lucky manager.
But I think, he has had these little spats and rows with people, and I think you don't need that. Like if you really look at it, maybe not as many spats as Roy Keane had with Martin O'Neill and with the players and it coming out. But I genuinely think not everything is very rosy in that backroom situation as it has been with Barry leaving, Duffer leaving. We don't know if there's anything with Keith Andrews there. I mean, he's a big personality in a sense because he's very opinionated on his punditry. You just don't know, does that rub people up the wrong way? You wouldn't know. But, I thought it was very silly to do that with Gus Poyet because you've got to be able to back it up. If you come out with that, you have to back it up with names and he kind of backtracked, didn't he?
And the thing is that it happens all the time, where they'll take photographs of starting lineups and this kind of thing. It happens all the time. You deal with it,
You find the edge, don't you?
Yeah. But anyway, moving on. Denethor, I've gone there again. However, Alan Brown does have decent finishing ability and is usually the oldest player in midfield forward. He's 28 years old, so brings experience, and we continue. No disrespect meant to him, but just seems like if Brown doesn't score, he doesn't offer much else. I'd agree with that. As you said, he's technically very...
I think he's trusted. He'll do a job for you wherever he
plays. He'll come on and get you an important goal. That seems to be the way. Jude Clancy, how you doing again, Jude? What are your feelings of Nathan Collins being pulled out at half-time the last game? There was no injury. Was there? Seemed harsh. Always harsh when someone's taken off then. I think Nathan Collins has flattered to see a little bit as this season. Anyway, I think he's been very poor. He's been taken off a couple of times, if my memory serves me correctly. He is, yet again, he's a ball playing centre back. And is it him? Is it the system? I don't know. But I mean, Shane Duffy wasn't exactly. I mean, listen, nobody absolutely did themselves any favors on Friday. But he wasn't one of. Shane Duffy wasn't exactly one of the worst players.
No, I thought Shane Duffy was better than Collins, and to pull him, I could understand it. I mean, look, I'd also say that Benet got man of the match the other night, and yet
Ronnie
he was mistaken for a few chances there as well. Like for their goal, I thought he was actually culpable for the first one. But he still got man of the match. So you've got to be at a good level, and it's a shame. And I mean, Collins is one that we need to be building it around. I think Duffy's like he had a good game, but I mean, but he's not the future, is he? And Egan, I think, is worrying me now. The injuries,
I mean,
it's a little bit like Ender Stevens territory.
I mean, you got Scales. Scales and Collins. I would have liked to have seen those two ball playing centre backs, together. But
I remember Bamadelli's a bit of a mystery as well. Let's be honest. And the other thing, and even like Mark McGuinness is doing really well with Cardiff. Why is he not in there? Yeah. You have to start questioning it now. Like again, why I just got it in my head there, Ender Stevens. That's ridiculous. That was, if you think about the context of how he came in there, and then we've dropped James McLean. Like I messaged the other night with James McLean could easily been in that squad. And like, why did you drop him for that game? It didn't make sense.
Yeah, I probably would have left. I mean,
leave it the same then. We've got 4 games left. There's a lot more to it. There's a lot more going on.
There's still seems to be a lot more going on. You touched on it earlier in the podcast. I mean, like James McLean, gets to go out and says, "Well, by the way, I'm leaving at the end of November."
Yeah, and he's been dropped from the squad. And he's not happy, and he's getting his bank.
So does that mean now he has to be in the November squad?
Basically,
Like,
that's what
are
he
you-
said. Am I having a good buy?
Are you picking him? Like, I'd imagine he'll. So does that mean now he's guaranteed a berth in the team regardless of form?
That shows you the ridiculousness of it, because he
Yeah.
had his 100 caps, amazing achievement. He had his day. He had the family coming out. Was captain.
We're
He
supposed to
had
be building
that.
for the
We don't
future
need to be
here.
doing this again in November. You can't have 2 days out. Like, Jesus.
Yeah, it's a bit weird the way.
It's a bit like stupid. It's a bit amateur.
It does feel a bit like that. I mean, that is ridiculous. I mean, okay, if it's planned that he'll come in for the November game against New Zealand, fair enough.
Yeah, but you know what are you getting for that?
Yeah, and there's no continuity. There's just no continuity there at all.
Dave's piping up.
Calm down, love. I'll be down in a second. Shane Brown, safe travels, lads, and enjoy the trip. Ireland to win 4-0 tomorrow. Yeah, thank you, Shane. And let Kenny walk away on that. O'Shea is down to take the Dutch game, otherwise it's going to end on a very sour note.
I'll tell you what, Shane, that is one of the best comments we've ever had on the podcast. I would agree completely with that. Let him go out with a bit of dignity, head held high.
But don't want to get
still
nasty.
Playing for him, not getting nasty.
Yeah.
Go out and play, and he can walk away and say, "I think I've left us in a better place." And you know, it's not been for me, and I'm going to step aside now, and you know, let them build. I failed in the qualification.
Yeah,
he can say that because it's gone, right? So we'll know that tomorrow. Anyway, well, we know it now. But I think that's a nice way for it to happen. He's not a horrible man.
No.
Kenny. He's a lovely guy.
Yeah.
It just hasn't worked, and I think that is a really good message. That is.
I don't want it to get to the level of what happened to Stan. Now, I don't think that'll ever happen again. You'll never get that in this. You know, it's actually, when you look back how ridiculous it got with Stan.
Well, the press coverage was awful, though.
It really was.
And Kermit and all that
like
stuff was there.
It was like Britain in the 90s. It was very British in the 90s, wasn't it?
Well, you're the one who buys the sun, keeps it all going.
Me? You cheeky bastard. I don't buy any newspaper. I am the media. No, it's yeah. I mean, I don't want it to get to that level. Let them go out and sort. I mean, I just shudder to think if we don't get a result tomorrow, you know, a few lads here with a few drinks on them, you know, and
if it's crap, that will happen.
Yeah, I don't want that to happen. But anyway, Shane, listen, thank you very much for your comment. Great comment, by the way. Keep them coming. We're going to stay till the comments dry up. Need to sober him up for a start.
No.
Jamal, Colorado again. We can't win them all. Judge Kenny by the progress we've made. 3rd seed losing home and away to 4th seed. Yeah,
the manners of the losses, though, Jamal. That's the problem. Like, you know, clueless at times.
It does seem a little bit. It does seem a little bit at sea. And what I think is quite jarring is that the level of mistakes that are made seem to be quite. I've never coached a team. You know, does LMA manager count? I don't know. I've never coached a team or anything like that, but I can see the glaring mistakes that have been made. The top managers stick to the principles.
About me, top manager.
Oh yeah, top manager.
Well, we'll go off on a tangent now. Green Machine, we do sponsor a grassroots.
Well, we do sponsor
team.
grassroots.
We sponsor my team, Enfield Town, and we've won 5 on the trot. That's to do with the management. Again, fair play to the boys this morning.
Geez,
you know, I left the pitch this morning at 11:10, and I got to Stansted at 12:10, and I met you in the queue, and we got on the flight, and I said to them, cheer me up, because the rugby disappointed me. Ireland Friday night disappointed me. I watched Enfield Town about the FA Cup.
You went down and said, listen.
Amazing.
Listen,
so
no tea.
But
I am
son
plays on the team, doesn't he?
Yeah, I am coaching.
No tea, yeah. No rolls, no tea.
I am coaching at under 12 level, right? But you are doing your UEFA badges, basically, to do that. Like, if you want to, and I do. Yeah. Now, I honestly, I know this sounds really weird now, and I know we're sponsored by Sagres this evening. Well, I am. They're all empty now. I need to get down. To the main.
I always think of the Euro '96 campaign.
But my thoughts the other night when we watched Ireland, what he does with Jason Knight, and he was moving, like even Evan Ferguson was near enough playing the centre midfield the other night. It was a little bit like what we have to do at under 12, 11. You're rotating players and letting them play in different positions so they learn the game. It was a little bit like that. I honestly felt that the other night. And now, well done to the lads anyway. I just want to give them a shout out.
Yeah, but, you know,
great manager.
Watch him. Don't dislocate your shoulder, pat yourself in the back there. Jesus Christ. I was actually in the middle of making a great point there, and I've now completely forgotten about it. Thank you very much. Right, we'll move it on. It was brilliant, actually. I can't remember what it was, but it's phenomenal. Graham Farrell. Robbie's back in Dublin for his kid's birthday, apparently, and the views some Irish fans are giving him because he took a job in Israel is mental. I mean, that's a very sensitive subject. I don't want to get involved on that, but I you know, when the news broke that he had to be held in a panic room, and then he had to be basically smuggled out of the country to Greece, and people, I saw some of the comments were a bit.
Yeah, over the top. You don't need to do that. Like, we want him safe, and we want everyone safe.
Well, everyone's safe. You don't want it, yeah. I think people's lives is quite trivialized in 2023, and I'm scratching my head.
Yeah,
a lot. Don't worry, I haven't got a dose. Frank, it's all right. It's 8 o'clock here. We can say what we want. Frank Gowan, 0-0 tomorrow night. Gary Dicker, new Irish manager. Good man, Frank. Good man. Grania Clark, how you doing, Grania? Oh, we haven't heard from Grania for a while. She's a long time listening to the podcast. How you doing, Grania? Time for Kenny to go. Poor performance, poor atmosphere at the game. There's no reflection in action from Kenny. Too late to react and adapt to the questions. Adapt to the opposition's playing style. Felt reminiscent of October 2018 at the end of the O'Neill Keane partnership. Change needed. We need a boost, lads. That's very
a good point.
Astute. That's spot on. Do you know what? I was actually thinking that the other day, that this is like when I was in Lansdowne Road in the start, before I actually came up with the idea of doing the Pace Lansdowne Road, I went to the Nations League games just towards the end because Kenny McCoy's dad, Johnny, I think it's Johnny McCoy. If you're watching, lads, hope you're
your good friend. Your good friend Kenny, you don't know his dad's name.
Anyway, Kenny's dad, and he gave up a season ticket because he couldn't go anymore. He's not getting any younger, and that's what I was thinking. It was like that game against Northern Ireland. It was bleak, it was hopeless. It was like being at mass again. It was just really, we are in a Catholic country, by the way. Just
yeah, I had the Angelus at 6 when we had earlier.
But it was just very much like that. I felt, there's kind of no hope here, and you're going through the motions, and you're just waiting for a new manager to come. You know it's coming. But no, fair play, Grania. Spot on.
And it did just that Roy Keane and Martin O'Neill, like it ended in our roost, didn't it? With Stephen Kenny then coming in, and after that,
Mick came.
Mick came in. Sorry, Mick came in. Under 21s was the.
Someone tell Martin O'Neill that, will they?
No, but it was very and it ended that night. And to be fair, that night was very poisonous as well. In the stands,
it does get.
There was a lot of protests against the FAI at that time, with John Delaney in particular.
No
but Roy went that night went for someone in the crowd that night. Did I never tell you this story?
I think you have actually. Yeah.
Yeah, Roy. There were two pissed up lads down the bottom at the tunnel, and this isn't at the Aviva or Lansdowne. This was in our roofs, and they did, and I had a chat with John Delaney that night and explained what I'd seen, because Darren Randolph gave me his gloves. That's how I know.
Gave you his gloves, or you got?
Oh, I asked him for Keaton, obviously, but and the best thing about that night, look, that was a dead rubber game. Look, we went over. Let's like this game. We went over them, right? Yeah. Now, many of you will know that I do collect Irish football memorabilia and stuff, but many of you wouldn't also know that the night Darren Randolph gave me the gloves, I walked into the pub wearing the gloves and then held my pint in it for about an hour. So I got a bit of fun and humour out of it, and people had photos with them. And then I thought someone's going to have them in a minute. And so I brought them up to my hotel room and then went back down.
That's
a nice little story to that. And that
he returned about 20 minutes later after doing something.
Thank you, Darren, again.
Good man.
And his mum is a lovely woman, Anne, a wonderful musician, actually.
Yeah, does look good, actually.
The stag race are kicking in, let's be honest.
Yeah. God knows where we're going to end up tonight. David Levy, of course, brother of Daniel, putting a League of Ireland manager in charge of the senior team was a gamble that backfired badly with Kerr 20 years ago. It didn't work with Kerr. It didn't work on hand in the 80s either. I mean, what I would say, though, is about, and you are right there, David, but what I'd say there, obviously, with Owen Hand, he got very unlucky. He went down goal difference. So he was very close to that. And then I think after that, kind of all went to pop for Mexico 86. That was Spain 84, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Sorry, Spain 82.
82, yeah.
The game in Heysel went down
Belgium,
goal difference. Belgium, France, the Dutch. And I could be mistaken there, just off the top of my head. Brian Kerr, I saw somebody there, actually. Somebody on the YouTube channel said that my comment comparing it to Kerr was laughable, the whole Stephen Kenny thing, because Kerr should have been rehired. What people forget about Brian Kerr is that because he had the highest percentage record for an Ireland manager, but when it came to competitive games, actually he never beat a team inside the top 80. Just saying. Just putting it out there. Yeah. Nico Farrell, come on. You don't believe we're not down money because no sponsor of that spin?
What are we spending about? That's what I'd first say. But no, like we obviously do need money.
Yeah.
And but we've not been able to attract a sponsor, and that's because of the results and the management
I
ultimately.
mean, we're probably. I mean, look, we're probably. I mean, I don't know the figures, Nico. To be honest with you, I don't know the figures at all. But I mean, I'm just going by what they've said and their explanation towards it. And to be fair, it does make a bit of sense. You get a lot of little sponsors, you can maybe make up a big one. At the end of the day, we're not Liverpool, we're not Man United, we're not going to get a massive sponsor, you know, because the state the team's in at the moment. But I'm just going by what they've said. Graham Farrell wants to know how is the segue?
Yes, good, thanks.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank
I
you.
should have. I was gonna. When I read that there, because we can obviously see some of the comments coming up and stuff on the side. I was thinking we should have set up that, buy me a coffee. I don't think. Well, I don't know if I could drink them all because you're so generous. I'm sure, but no, I'm only joking. But no, yeah, it's going all right. Nice, nice
he's
stuff.
happy. He's only seen 2 laptops at the moment. Frank Owen, go to Villamura Cats nightclub.
Sounds like more of Dave's kind of place than mine.
I'll bring me change. Adam Kavanagh, morning from Vancouver, lads. Good morning, Adam. How are you doing? Hoping for this to be an experimental side, whether it's 1-0 or 5-0. I don't think anyone will care. I think it's fair. Francis Concubar. Hope I'm saying that right. Anyone know why Steve Bruce is the bookie's favourite? Is there anything there? I really hope not. I don't know. I don't think anyone.
He's the new Martin O'Neill. He's the front of every bet. Well, especially the market we're in now for betting. I do have a clue about betting a little bit, and I don't know why he's near it, to be honest.
You have to remember though with the bookies, with things like that, unless it's absolutely odds on, as if in ridiculously odds on, I wasn't paying much attention to that. All that is that somebody
moving the market, getting people
has just put maybe $5,000 on it for the crack.
It's not even that. You wouldn't even have to. You can move a manager's market by having
so early in
£100, or 50 quid. It's nothing moved. Market just moves. It's rubbish.
It depends,
and it's fake by the bookies often as well.
It depends on how saturated that particular market is. I used to work in bookies.
And just to say as well, when the fun stops, have another bet. Don't stop.
Yeah, stop. One day you'll heed that, Martin. But yeah, so Francis, I wouldn't pay much attention to that. Now, when it gets closer and when it's made official that Stephen Kenny, they're moving off of Stephen Kenny, they are moving off of Stephen Kenny, then when you see an absolute odds-on favourite, when the market gets tighter, more money going on it, then you start paying attention to that. Doesn't mean you won't be the manager at some point, but I wouldn't be going on that as it is. I'll explain that. Graham Farrell, I was happy Kenny got the job. He's getting a free ride from the media. Karen Stan got slaughtered from the media. So why are they letting Kenny off? It's getting worse. I think basically the media just wanted, this is what we've kind of been asking for, isn't it? We got what we asked for, and it just hasn't
They've
worked.
given him time. I think he's had more than enough time now. That's the thing.
100%, yeah. And he deserved time. He deserves.
Yeah, he does. And the new guy will. Whoever comes in next, it's going to have to be back.
We've got to be patient.
There's no point turning over and going, we've got it wrong straight away when the new guy gets
No,
even if John O'Shea comes in, people, if he it's like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at Man United, came in holding the reins, put a bit of kind of, bring it back to the glory days in a sense, right? And then we had Rio jumping up and down, going, Ole's at the wheel, man, give him the contract. Great impression, I thought.
And that went really well.
Well, no, but it did. We finished second in the league, so I don't want to bring it on to Man United, but we did all right under Ole, but because it just gives us such a lift, and I don't think we're not far away. We're not far away with the players we have. We've got one of the most exciting strikers he's a Golden Boy Award nominee now.
Yeah,
brilliant, Evan. We've got a fantastic goalkeeper. The spine of the team is pretty solid now, so I think he has got an opportunity there, and the new guy has got an opportunity.
There's a good side,
and I think that, and you have to give him time.
Yeah, there's a good side, and whoever comes in needs time. We're going to move these comments on. Still got loads. Keep them coming in.
And we want to go and meet the fans, of course.
Of course, my fans. Dather of Gondor again. What do you guys make of Steve Bruce being the mix for Iron Manager? Last time I checked, he was second favourite. I prefer Carsley, Dove, O'Shea, or Robbie Keane over Bruce. Yeah, I think for me, very quickly, Martin, because we've already
it's the amount of money with Carsley, and a lot of it is going to be money. It's going to be money.
But I think it's going to be somebody we need to take a punt on. Somebody's going to be inexperienced. I said it on Friday. If you're going to get somebody in, let's say like a Carsley, you'll see as a stepping stone to championship or maybe a Premier League job. Actually,
yeah, but then that's why the contractual stuff is important, because
that's
you can say we want you.
Yeah.
Can you commit to 2 campaigns?
And
you're not walking away. Look, Martin O'Neill tried to leave us 2 or 3 times. Without a doubt, he did. So that's
of course he did. After the 5-1 and Stoke and everything.
So,
but anyway, Donald Bryan hasn't been this band a long time. The experience of Kenny at top level is glaringly obvious. Jimmy Shell, no performance was poor, seems to be getting worse as if players were afraid to make mistakes. In saying that, I don't think Greece got credit they deserved. Point. Boye has done a fantastic job, and last qualifying group was stamping his plans on them. And for me, it's been proved that his Greece are usually improving under him. Wouldn't be surprised if they finish second in the group. Great chance tomorrow as well, isn't it? They're playing Greece.
And that's a massive game. And yeah,
sold out as well.
The Dutch are in an awful state in a sense.
Yep. And Graham Farrell just underscores the point there. Tomorrow against Holland at home is huge for them. Jimmy Shell, hopefully that dog doesn't escape, but it's all right. We're on the first floor here anyway. There's a big pool there. Take your chances. He's gone away. Sean Gallagher, I'd love if Kieran McKenna was interested in the job. It's amazing what he's done this, which he's done very well. The football, the goal that Jack Taylor scored, the passing, phenomenal. Francis, I'll come to you bar again. Lads, can you tell that dog to be quiet? But he's gone away, Francis. So, are we looking on the sound?
Yeah,
still all right?
Yeah.
Good stuff. Graham Farrell, hope that dog's not playing up front tomorrow night. And yeah, telling me dog and date to hang on there from Graham Farrell. Brandon Walsh, fair play to Keith Andrews the other day for motivating Greece to beat us even more with his stupid spying comments. That's more than he's ever motivated us in 3 years. Roy Keane was right about him calling him a bluffer in the past. Ronan Tilly, how you doing, Ronan? Why is Kenny still the manager? Is it so he gets himself inflated salary right to the very end? He should have voluntary step down ages ago. But you got to remember, Ronan, let's talk about brass tacks. We're not talking about a Martin O'Neill figure here or some like Mick who is set up for life. You know, we're talking about a guy who was managing the League of Ireland. You know, he's well off, but you know, we're not talking about multi-millionaire here. So, you know, it's not like a tippy top manager walking away from a job. So I see the comment there. You know, so maybe there's a bit of that as well, or maybe he does actually feel he's going to turn it around. I don't know. Francis, I'll come to Bear again. He begged for the gloves. Darren got scared and handed him over.
Frank was there. He knows.
Yeah, but he does. Dennis Gondor again. Bazuna, Manning, Collins, Egan, Doherty, Cullen, Knight, Smallbent, Mikey, Jay, Ferguson, and Benny in a 4-3-3 with everyone fit and ready. This seems like a reasonable team, to be honest. Eamon Duffy was actually, he wasn't very complimentary towards Cousin Will. He says he doesn't understand why he's anywhere near the starting 11.
Well, I don't know why he's played in that position in the sense that, you know, again, that's a question. Kenny, like Southampton, he started a bit deeper this season. He's not playing a forward midfield role, but he got picked there the other night. Look, we could have been within 5 minutes. He had the shot that we nearly scored from, so wasn't brilliant the other night. But you know, he's had 3 or 4 caps, so I can't be faulting him, to be honest, for where we are at the moment.
Okay, there you go. PR machine
Protect
there
protect the family, no?
Protect the family, yeah. Graham Farrell, the next appointment is absolutely huge. Don't promote Croft, that he's doing amazing with the under-21s. We're flying the group at the minute, 3 wins from 3. Yeah, I mean, you know.
I would say, though, he's got to qualify with that group now, to be honest. Yes, and I think that, and he was very close the last time, but, you know, that's where we are. It's
kind of sad when you think about it. Like, Kenny had the under-21s playing beautifully. Oh, Alan Peter Michael Moore. I knew this was coming because he asked me this question the other day. How you doing, Alan? Doesn't normally contribute on the pod, but I know he's a big fan of Lance Rowe. He's a good man. But he was asking me about this. Is the future still bright despite us not being sure of beating Gibraltar, or can we recognise that because of our FA we are screwed for years to come? Hashtag happy clappers. So I used to always put the future is bright hashtag on it. Yeah. Alan will take umbrage with that. I mean, you know, you have your opinion, Alan. I have mine. That's the beauty of the pod and the page. I do still think the future is bright. The present is pretty shit. But I think the future is bright. I think we do have a very good young team. We have the makers of a young team. But you look at the difference with Greece there. We're saying how to streetwise, you know, Kenny and you know, he said they were a streetwise team. Why can't we be streetwise? What's wrong with being streetwise? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just those little advantages. You know, you have to. Yeah, the aim of the game is winning. You know. And I know it's results business, and we were saying, well, we don't mind the results at the beginning because, you know, it was about building something new, tearing it all up and starting again. But it does get to a point, especially when you're 3 years into it, you do need to be producing results.
There's a lot wrong, isn't there? My view on this, I mean, I had a bit of a rant the other night. Like, you know, we need the management to be right at the senior level, motivating some really talented players, and they are, right? But in the background, we can't let the FAI, I think, not be accountable for some crap that's still happening within the association. In all honesty, that's not. I won't have anyone really slag off the ticket office. Clea does a fantastic job. Most of us who go to games know she does, but we're understaffed in there. We're trying to promote games now and season tickets, and yet the engagement from the FAI with match-going fans is at an all-time low. Like, for all the faults of John Delaney, he did engage with the fans. Okay, certain fan groups he didn't, but he did with a lot of them, and he recognised who was, quite consistent in their support of Ireland. Okay, he manipulated that as well, right? But at the same time, we did okay with the football-wise. He brought in big names, managers and stuff, and yet I think we've got to start holding the FAI accountable for some of the rubbish in the background that's still going. Yeah, ongoing. Some things have not changed in the FAI, and that is going to take time.
I still think that,
and that's the shit show we're in.
Yeah, I do think it still will take time. I mean, I was actually just finished up reading Champagne Football again. I love that book. You know, it's just depressing. You got decades of shit to untangle there. You know, basic accounting, like, you know, that's what you're up against. Basic accountancy not applied. A spreadsheet.
I think with you, if you as Irish fans, I think you really need to read that book, and you also need to read the Team the Chat Bill, and you need to know your Irish football history, right? We're a relatively new association. Okay, we're 100 years old, but the shit show of it all, like up to John Giles period. John Giles was our first manager coming in who was actually allowed to pick the team. It used to be done by some old guys on committees and stuff.
That wasn't him. Oh Christ, what was his name? He was only in charge for a few games. He recently passed away, actually. He's the first ever manager.
I know. Oh, John Giles was the first one who was probably the first manager we had in.
I think Johnny Giles, he wasn't the first one to pick the team, but Martin, you did make a very good point. He was the first one that was able to get the team in for meetups.
Yes.
They used to just show up on the day of the game and go to, like, he was the one.
You picked with your new people. Training. And you think we're a relatively young association in that way.
It was no one hand.
It all got so big for us.
It was no one hand, Peter. It was no one hand.
It all got so big, though, for us around Big Jack and those fantastic years. But, like, look at the money we've wasted.
There we go.
Pilfered away.
Mick Meegan.
Well done.
That's the one. Bernard Fan.
Well done, Bernard Phantom. So, Bernard's Wrist London member.
Is he over here? You over here, Bernard? You should know. You're the chairman.
I know. He'd have got a ticket off me if he was. I don't know if you are.
You can still get a ticket anyway, Bernard, Martin.
But yeah, but that's my point. Though we're a relatively young association in some respects. We waste a lot of money on the Big Jack years and stuff. You know, we didn't invest in a stadium then that we could have had. So there's lots of faults. We could talk about this all night.
It's another pod. We won't get bogged down in that. I'm going to get into the last few comments here. By the way, guys, thank you so much for interacting.
41-1.
That's the odds for Gibraltar to win. Could happen. We are an all-time low. That's true, you know, because we were half time against these guys in Dublin, and then they got we you know, as I said, we got that mistake. The goalkeeper spilled it, and then, you know, we opened it up, but it was not good at all. And Cabinet back trying to manifest Russell Martin as a contender for the next manager. Graham Farrell, big time, man. He has to qualify. This is what he wants. This on Jim Crawford. This is a group with class players, all in range levels, doing well at the moment, and I think the senior team will. We do have some very, very good players there. And Graham Farrell, Liam too was the first manager, but he never got to pick the team. Giles made us professional and got to pick the team. Actually, what Mick Meegan was the first one post.
Right, Bennett.
Okay. Mick Meegan was the first one post the Big Five that got to pick it. It was Big Five, wasn't it? They got to pick the team. But Giles, and look, I think Owen Hand made a great point, not to get too bogged down in it. In Green, it's called a great documentary, by the way. A lot of people in that are no longer with us, sadly. And he said it was progression to the Charlton era. You know, Hand played his part, Toohey before that. I think it was Toohey, then Hand. No, it was Toohey, Giles, Hand, Mick Meegan before that. And I think Alan Kelly, Senior before that. I think he was manager for a game and then decided he didn't want it, and then Giles just basically threatened to walk away a lot. Bernard is not here. He's in London, but he is going to Amsterdam. Good man, Bernard. And Sean Keller, I'll probably leave this as the last comment. Tell me, lads, why don't you pronounce the or at the end of Gibraltar, because we're Irish and that's what we do. Gibraltar. And Graham Farrell here, actually. It's an intro. Yeah, Mick Meegan said that he was managing Drogheda and was told he had it in the middle of a game. That is pretty mad. And actually, we'll take a couple more of these comments in, actually. We won't go just yet. Ronan Tilley. one of Gibraltar's best players, a student of Loughborough University near Birmingham. Is that
Nice.
Loughborough or Loughborough?
Loughborough. Very
it is
famous
Loughborough.
sporting university.
Yeah. Jimmy Shell, always great to listen in, guys. Have a good night and trip. Hopefully players are played in their right positions like night. Well, that is what we do hope for, and that's where we're going to leave it, guys. Thank you very
first one.
much.
Well done,
Our
Dave.
first one abroad. Yeah, we're going to have a little celebration later on. The cameras won't be on for that one.
Right, we've got people to meet down FARO. If you are around, grab some badges of us.
Grab some badges, some tickets.
Look out for the stickers. No tickets. What you want about tickets for?
Yeah, do give us a shout. We will be around the FARO area. We're going to go off there. It's 8:26 local time. Anyway, listen, guys, thank you very much for coming in. We will be live tomorrow for the pre-match, normally about an hour before kickoff, which... Is it 8:45 kickoff here? It is, isn't it? And 7:45 back and blind.
Yeah, and yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
So you'll follow. We're going to put a lot of stuff out tomorrow. We're going to try and chat to loads of Irish fans on the streets and in the bars, and yeah. So catch up with us. Follow us on socials.
Yeah, Instagram, Twitter, all that happy stuff. Facebook, YouTube. If you don't follow us on the YouTube channel, please give us a little cheeky subscribe on YouTube. We are trying to grow that. We do have some big plans for that next year. Unfortunately, real life got in the way this year. But yeah, we're live from stadium tomorrow, an hour before kickoff for about 20 minutes. Get your comments, starting 11, and then we will be back almost immediately after Sandra Keogh. My old schoolmate there, and we will be back immediately, pretty much about 5 or so minutes after the full time whistle. Hopefully, we'll be talking about a comfy Irish win, and we won't be talking about one of those historical moments where somebody gets a sign made out of the back of a cornflakes packet, like it happened with or the cardboard box. Looking for Kenny to get out. But anyway, listen, we're going to leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. If you're going to the game, hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully we'll see you later on tonight. And if not, we'll chat to you guys tomorrow. Thank you very much. Good night and God bless from FARO.